Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at this cut down M7 bayonet that I have put together for this 10.5-inch barreled carbine here. That was a functioning bayonet lug and it was kind of haunting me. So I took a Smith & Wesson M&P new production M7 style bayonet and modified it so that it would properly fit. So today we're going to be talking about exactly what all went into that, the process of doing that, and what all we did so that we could get Stabby Boy on the Short Boy. Alright. Let's get into that. First of all, like I said, this is a Smith & Wesson M&P that I used. It's a brand new production. It's like $30. Please don't use like an original surplus one. There's plenty of these, and honestly, these are at this point cheaper. So just use these. The first thing we did was take this one apart and compare it to the bayonet lug and the barrel to figure out exactly how much we needed to remove. And in our case, it was about 2 inches off of the tang. So the tang runs all the way through the middle of the handle, and in the case of the Smith & Wesson M&P, it sort of dead ends into a blind insert, and I don't know what exactly they did. I'm unclear if they epoxied it or what, but I tried several methods to separate the pommel here from the tang, and they were quite unsuccessful. So what I ultimately ended up doing was just cutting it off basically flush with the pommel and using a die grinder to sort of hog out enough space in there that I could reinsert the shortened tang. And that worked fine. So once that was done, I cut off the rest of the tang that I didn't need and reshaped it into a step down that I could use to insert into the pommel. Once we got the tang cut down and shaped, then we inserted it into the pommel and welded it up. The first time it was very crooked and it broke when I tried to kind of straighten it. So the second time we just sort of held it straight up and down and eyeballed it and tried to make sure it was centered. And it actually turned out pretty good. It's pretty centered. It's a little bit canted backwards, but that hasn't affected anything and that's been totally fine. So with the metal parts pretty much taken care of, next up was the handle. So what I chose to do basically was to cut it straight in half and then sand it until it fit with the distance that I had left. Now I thought about sort of trying to splice it, but because I wanted to reuse the existing hole in the tang and the existing hole in the handguard, I just cut it and used the front half of the handle. Once we got that cut to length and test fitted, then we were pretty much ready to rock and roll. I spray painted it, cleaned everything up, made sure that we were good, and got that installed. So the last thing I did was attempt to move this strap here down so that it would wrap around the now shortened handle. That did not work because it wasn't until I had gotten it in place and riveted and everything that I realized it's just too short. And it's too short because of the angle that the metal attachment takes it, so it's not able to move over enough that this length of strap would be sufficient to wrap around it. You could totally do it, but you need a longer piece of strap. And honestly, the spring tension on the blade is pretty good. Like, it's really not that bad. So I'm not too worried about it coming out of there, just randomly. So I will probably just leave the strap like this and not worry about it too much. So yeah, that was my experience making this little shortened handled retro style M7 to go on my little carbine. Like I said, use a new production if you bother doing this. Don't ruin an old, what is and most certainly will in the future be a historical example of a bayonet just to make a meme. I mean, that's basically what this is. This is just fun and funny. So there's plenty of reproductions. Just use those. It was fun. It was nice. And now I have this little guy. So yeah, ready to rock and roll. All right. So if you enjoy random nonsense like this, whatever I'm getting into, then you can check out my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.